try to do this the opposite way.
High fly ball, deep left field. Oh, 27 does it again.
God, Fernando Tatis Jr. with a 2-run shot has the Padres on the board. Ball and 2 strikes to Shohei here. Oh, got it!
33!
Oh, wow. Where did that one go? That's his 11th home run.
Driven out to deep center field. Going back, Springer, turning, looking, see ya! Oh, what a shot by Judge! The Yankees lead 1-0.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Free Baseball. It's episode number 35. A lot to talk about, into the World Series, a few things. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Only thing to talk about that's more important than the World Series is the Fall Stars game MVP, Matt Mervis, obviously the Chicago Cubs. Matt Mervis took home Fall Stars MVP, Arizona Fall League, because that guy just rakes, man. I don't know if you looked at his stats from last year. I don't actually have his stats on hand specifically from the Fall League. But if you have not looked, Jake, over 3 levels in the minor leagues last year, he actually had this crazy season where he went from high A, double A, and triple A in the same season. And his OPS by level in high A, he had a 1.039. Double A and 966, Triple A and 977, and then in the Arizona Fall League, he posted a 1.229 OPS. He had 36 dingers last year in the minors across those 3 levels. Not good enough to play for the big league team though.
Yeah, because the Cubs were so good.
Oh yeah, we're just absolutely not going to get there. But yeah, congratulations to Matt Mervis winning Arizona Fall League. Absolutely should be on the Cubs opening day roster. There's no excuse for it at this point, unless they just trade for Freddie Freeman or someone that's absolutely crazy. But yeah, congratulations. Some good Cubs news. Doesn't really happen that much.
Pretty awesome. I would have been at the Fall Stars game if not for me getting a new job and such. But next year I'm going to be there for Baseball HQ. So hopefully I'll get to see the next Fall Star Games MVP in person. But yeah, dope that you got somebody in the pipeline to root for.
Absolutely. He also has a really sick nickname that I love. He's Matt Mervis, and they just call him Mash Mervis, which I think is just the best. So, cool Cubs news finally. And then, obviously, let's go ahead and get to what we need to be talking about. World Series didn't quite end how I think me and you and almost every single fan that doesn't live in Houston wanted to. But congratulations to the Houston Astros for winning the World Series. We can run down it, or we can run it down by game, I guess. I'm gonna do, game 4. Pretty boring. No hitter. Where's the pass and tweet about combined no hitters being boring?
Yeah, he tweets so much. Good luck finding that.
Yeah, I know. I'll look for it while you talk about it.
Sure. Yeah, we were recording during this game, so we didn't really know what was going on. I think we recorded during the first 4 innings or so, and then after that it was just a no-hitter. So this is the second no-hitter ever in the World Series. Obviously, it's the first combined no-hitter because in the past nobody would ever let a guy lose the opportunity to throw a no-hitter. But Christian Javier, a young guy, the Astros know what they're doing. He combined with Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, and Ryan Presley to throw, like I said, the second no-hitter ever in World Series history. I think it's the third no-hitter ever in the postseason. The only other no-hitter was a perfect game. That was Don Larson threw a perfect game in the 1956 World Series. And then, as many remember, Roy Halladay, the late, great Roy Halladay, threw a no-hitter in the NLDS in 2010 or something. So yeah, there's it's once in a lifetime thing, I guess you're going to see, but we've seen it now twice, but once in a lifetime, you see it in the World Series. The Phillies bats just fell asleep and the Astros pitching staff really took advantage.
Absolutely. I found the passing tweet. And he said, even in the World Series, this holds a combined no-hitter is to a no-hitter what boneless wings are to chicken wings. a lesser version, not worthy of respect. So
Wrong.
get
I mean,
bent
he's
Astros.
right about the
No-hitter
no-hitter.
doesn't mean
He's
anything.
wrong about the wings. He's wrong about the wings. Who the
I
heck
kind
wants
of
to eat the bone?
you don't eat the bone, Jake. What is
I
wrong with you?
understand you don't eat the bone, and that's why it gets in the freaking way.
Jake eats the bones when he eats chicken wings.
No, can I get that shit boneless?
Nah, he does. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, I've never met you in person, bro. I don't even know if
I've
you're
seen
real.
I've seen him do it. I think to everyone, I'm just a figment of your imagination.
That would be crazy though if people are just like messaging me, they're just like, who is he talking to? He's just on there.
You're literally not even like broadcasting this. It's just
Yeah.
you talking to
Me
your
talking to
monitor, and
myself in my room.
there's nothing even on the monitor either.
Yeah. I'm like, no wonder people don't watch my podcast because it's not actually streaming.
For real. Okay, so no hitter, boring, whatever. On to game 5, more cool. First win in the World Series for Justin Verlander. I think me and you both love Justin Verlander. Thoughts? I mean, are you a Verlander guy?
I was a Verlander guy. I don't know what happened. I feel like this year I didn't like him anymore. I don't know what it was. I feel like he just like.
Did he finally feel like a member of the Astros to you?
No, I mean, I've been hating the Astros less and less, and today I just realized why it is. It's because they beat the Dodgers in 2017, so I can't really be mad about them cheating in 2017. They beat the Dodgers. If that was the only way to keep the Dodgers from winning a legitimate World Series, I'm fine with it. I'm completely fine with it. So yeah, I don't care about the cheating anymore. I was a fan of them before the cheating. The cheating stuff's over. They've now proven like they were a legitimately good team. They've proven that over the last few years, making the ALCS in like 6 consecutive seasons. I don't think there was ever a doubt. Like, obviously, that cheating stuff was so stupid, but we've learned since then that so many other teams are cheating that I don't know. We don't need to get into a whole banging scheme debate right now, but I don't know. I'm over it at this point. I'm not an Astros fan. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because he's like so good. I don't know. I do like Justin Verlander, but I don't know. I think it was just rooting against him in this World Series because I wanted the Phillies to win, like sort of made me have some mixed emotions for him. And also, I don't know, I feel like everybody's probably jealous that he's like married to Kate Upton. So, right. What can you say?
Yeah, I'm a big Verlander guy, even if he is on the Astros. And I obviously like recognize that the cheating thing is like, it's in the past. The Astros just kind of filled the niche of like, another football analogy, because that's not really a thing for you. They're like the New England Patriots. They're like the Death Star when they had like Tom Brady, which is kind of like they win all the time and they're the one team that's in the playoffs. It's like, okay, they're either going to be like in the AFC Championship game, which would be obviously the ALCS, or they're going to be in the Super Bowl or the World Series. So like they're always going to be the ever present like big bad in that one division. But Justin Verlander, I mean, finally wins a game in the World Series. He's been one of the worst like pitchers in like World Series history in the postseason. But in this game, in game 5, he went 5 innings, got the win. 3-2 game, so it was a low scoring game. But he allowed 1 run, gave 4 hits, 4 walks, which is not great. But he got 6 strikeouts, and that Astros defense helped him out a little bit.
That game was crazy, bro.
Yes,
I was asleep for half of it, but that was because I was sick. I fell asleep while watching it for like 3 innings while nothing was happening, and then I woke up in like the 8th inning. It was like perfect timing. But yeah, that game was crazy because I really thought the Phillies were going to come back at the end. I'm sure you were about to get to it, but holy moly, that Chas McCormick catch was insane.
Yeah, Chas McCormick, who is actually from Westchester, just outside of Philadelphia, hometown kid, breaking Philly fans' hearts, making an amazing catch against the wall, and falling down onto the warning track, holding on to it to deny the rally and save the game for the Astros. Was probably one of the moments of the series, and it felt like a huge turning point. Like the no-hitter was like, okay, you could call it an isolated incident. Any team can get no-hit. It is what it is. Like you see good teams get no-hit during the season too. It just doesn't happen that much in the playoffs. Crazy. But that one, that felt like, all the air got sucked out of Philly. Rally ends, they lose the game. Jeremy Pena hit a big home run in the game. He's actually the first rookie shortstop to home run in the World Series. So I mean, the Astros were kind of doing it on all fronts, and they end up coming away in Game 5. And just Philly never really recovered there. Go to Game 6, Kyle Schwarber hit another dinger in the series, which, I mean, he had a really good series. And I know we talked about it too. I talked about him for the ALCS being one of the big bats that's going to have to step up. And like, he was really good throughout all the postseason, every single round. But he hit a monster home run. But then Jordan was like, all right, watch this. Jordan hit an absolute moonshot.
I've never seen a ball hit up there.
Golly.
There's like the center field has like a fence, and then above it there's like a 40-foot green wall. It's like the Green Monster, but dead center field, and he hit it on top of that. I've never seen a ball hit up there. That man is so strong.
Yeah, he is an absolute freak of nature. 450-foot home run to dead center, takes the lead. Never relinquished it from that point. And Astros win their first World Series title since 2017. The only good thing that we can really take away from this, even me, who has a little bit of bad blood for him, Dusty Baker finally wins his World Series. Congratulations, Dusty Baker. We talked about this also a couple podcasts ago, but I want to hear your thoughts on it now because I think my opinion has probably changed. Can you now call the Astros a dynasty because they have 2 championships? I think you have to. Like, the big thing for me was like, well, they have the one championship that is obviously marred with the cheating scandal, and now here's one where it's like they were very clearly the best team in the AL, and then they kind of just waltzed into the World Series and they won it in 6 games. Had a couple scares at the start of the series, but just kind of eventually quality beat out, and it's just they showed that they're the best team in baseball. So, I mean, I think for me they're a dynasty. How are you on that front? I know you kind of nodded your head, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. No, yeah, I said when we talked about it last time or a couple pods ago, I said, yeah, I think if they win this one, like for sure, like I already thought they were because they've won so much recently. Like, obviously, I don't know, like, do you call the Dodgers a dynasty because they've won one and it was the goofy 2020? Yeah, thank you. That's the correct answer. Because they haven't won multiple, but yeah, I think the amount of success the Astros have had capped off with this World Series, I think they're definitely a dynasty. So yeah, congrats to them. I don't think many people were doubting them. It's pretty crazy how far they've come from being one of the worst teams when we were growing up. Yeah, I mean, like in the late 2000s and early 2010s, they were just like the worst team in baseball. So it's pretty crazy to see that rebuild process has worked out so well. But you know, they've had to continue producing talent and like getting guys from other teams and making them really good. And we've seen them do it time in and time out again. So I don't know. They don't really look they don't look too stoppable, which is to say they don't look they look unstoppable right now. So them and the Dodgers, they just are the cream of the crop in their respective leagues. So doesn't seem like there's any stopping them right now. It's going to take, you know, some teams really putting together some really incredible lineups and rosters, but we'll see how it goes next year. But yeah, the Astros finished the year on top. Like you said, Dusty Baker finally wins his first World Series. Here's some facts. Obviously, I think I stated this multiple times already, but he's the oldest manager ever to win the World Series at 73 years of age. In fact, he's actually the oldest manager or head coach in all the 4 major American sports: MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL, to win a championship. So old man Dusty Baker, and he's going to be back next year looking to do it again, break his own record. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Doing what Tony La Russa wish he could have done. But yeah, pretty cool. I mean, there's more facts. Like Dusty Baker made his managerial debut in 1993 in April versus the Cardinals. Do you want to guess? I don't know if you've seen this one. Do you want to guess who the leadoff hitter for the Cardinals was that day?
Ozzie Smith.
No, it was Jeremy Pena's dad, Geronimo Pena.
Was it really?
Yes, it was. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then I think like we'll get to the World Series MVP just after this, but I think that the real driver of the success of the Astros throughout the postseason was the bullpen, and that's shown and revealed by their postseason lowest ERA of all time by a relief core is 0.83. The Astros put up this postseason. So pretty crazy. They just were shut down every single time they went out there, and that's how you do it. You just don't blow leads.
Yeah, their bullpen, especially the back end of their bullpen, just wild. And it was really the difference in almost every single series they played, because they just didn't drop a game until the World Series. And then it felt like once they got a lead, virtually every time, if it wasn't a starter getting blown up for them, like McCullers got kind of trashed, if they handed a lead over to their bullpen, they were going to win. And it really shows just how important that is. Especially Ryan Pressly. And Pressly, for his postseason this time, he was 6 for 6 in save opportunities. He had 1 in the ALDS, he had 3 in the ALCS, and he had 2 in the World Series. In these 6, apart from these 6 save opportunities, he pitched 11 innings. He only gave up 4 hits and 1 run, none earned. He actually just didn't give up an earned run. 3 walks, 13 Ks. Lance McCullers actually called him the best closer in baseball. That absolutely gets no love or recognition. So I think that's pretty accurate. Ryan Pressly, he's very good, and he's one of the big reasons why the Astros are there and why their bullpen is so good. Obviously, they have other great arms. You talked about it earlier too, with like Montero, and even in their bullpen later when they could just kind of hand it over to basically any arm in there. I know they used a lot of starters out of the pen too. I think Urquidy had a couple appearances out, and then
it was Luis Garcia was going off. Urquidy had the one in the game they got beat 7-0.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Luis Garcia, the one with the rock the baby wind up. But yeah, their bullpen's just gnarly. Yeah. And they're all young guys too that are controllable, which is even crazier.
Yeah, it was definitely the completeness of that roster. That's what I said when we were predicting what we thought would happen with the series. That's what I said. I just said, they got the whole package. It's going to be hard for the Phillies to outlast them in a 7-game series. So before we hit the World Series MVP, I'm just going to say, I predicted the World Series. I mean, right before it started, but I said the Astros would come from behind to win the series in 6 games. Do you remember when I said that?
I do remember that.
It's actually in writing too in my article. I said the Phillies get off to a good start, winning 2 of the first 3 games. Correct. But the depth of the Astros roster will shine through. They are such a well-built ball club from top to bottom. And in a 7-game series, the construction of the roster will be the difference maker when the stakes are at their highest. And that's exactly what happened. And secondly, I also predicted how it would happen. I said the Phillies bullpen doesn't fall apart, which was true. They didn't blow leads. It was the offense that faltered. And which is correct. I said the bullpen has always been a sore spot for Philly, but they seem to have reinforced it enough at the deadline to actually possess some solid depth. The bullpen won't be a problem in this series like many would expect. Instead, the offense is going to finally cool off after an unsustainable hot streak. A lineup full of all-or-nothing home run hitters and unproven young hitters will begin to struggle under the bright lights against the AL's preeminent franchise. And that's exactly what happened. Not only did they get no hit in one of the games, but then in the other 2, they combined for 3 runs and 9 hits. So in those final 3 games that I said that the Astros would turn it around, the Phillies had 3 runs and 9 hits across 3 games. So the offense just went dead, and that's exactly what I predicted. So I don't know. I feel pretty smart.
Yeah. And another note on that bullpen, not only Pressly, Brian Abreu was gnarly. So Brian Abreu, who was also part of that.
Brian Abreu, Hector Neris, Ryan Stanek.
Yeah, but Abreu specifically, who was part of that combined no-hitter with Pressly, those 2 combined for 22 1/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 1 run given up, none earned, just 7 walks between the 2 in 22 innings and 32 Ks. So just those 2 guys completely trashed him. And Ryan Pressly, players who helped their team's World Series chances the most, he was at plus 41.1%. So
and championship win probability added?
Yes. 40%.
Damn.
40%.
That's pretty impressive.
And like you said, Jeremy Pena won World Series MVP. Ryan Pressly, he's got a very big case there. but it's also kind of boring to give it to a reliever. Really cool to give it to Jeremy Pena, who's now the first rookie. It's not the first
position
rookie
player.
Yeah, it's not the first rookie to win it.
The first rookie was Livan Hernandez of the Marlins, who was a pitcher. So Pena's the first rookie position player. But yeah, I don't have his World Series stats up, but throughout the postseason, he had 4 homers, batted .345 with a 186 WRC plus. So he was killing it. And it's sort of cool to see this season come full circle like that. Cause I don't know if you remember, like April was like the month of Jeremy Pena. He was just taking the league by storm. He really cooled off the rest of the year. And then now he just heated back up right at the right time. So sort of just the 2022 season is bookended by Jeremy Pena hot streaks, which is really cool.
Oh yeah. No Carlos Correa, no problem.
Yeah, bro. So he's the first rookie shortstop to win a Gold Glove award. He's the first rookie shortstop to hit a home run in the World Series, and he's the first rookie position player to win World Series MVP. That's a pretty solid first season debut. I think he's going to be a fan favorite for a long time.
Yeah.
I just saw the typo.
Jake had a typo in the rundown. So
I just saw it.
World Series, boring. Get it over with. Off-season time, baby. Off-season time.
Let's go. Our favorite part. Let's go. This is when the nerds have fun.
Oh yeah. So a million options are currently being decided. We're just literally talking about one of the most insignificant ones, which is Danny Duffy on the Dodgers.
Yeah, so many player options, club options, mutual options. It's hard to keep track of all of them. I would suggest to go to MLB Trade Rumors. That's usually the best spot to go find out the information, all that stuff. I wish we could talk about each and every one. I will definitely have a podcast where we go for 2.5 hours talking about all the transactions. We've done that already, but yeah, we'll leave that for you to go and pour over, because we'll definitely go over all the free agents probably next pod, to be honest.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a couple like high spots that we could like just touch on really quick. Like Haniger wasn't offered a qualifying offer. Wilson Contreras declined a qualifying offer. What else happened? AJ.
Yeah, qualifying offers too. Yeah, that's even completely separate from options.
AJ Pollock declined a player option.
That one I saw that today. That was weird. AJ Pollock sucks. Why would he decline a player option?
Cole Calhoun, I think, got outrighted. Reds declined Mike Minor's option. Like Jorge Soler will not exercise his opt-out, so he will return. Yeah, he will remain a Marlin. Anthony Rizzo declined a qualifying offer. The Rockies declined an option on Scott Oberg. Dum-dums. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and Eric Hosmer will not opt out. So Eric Hosmer is going to remain.
Daniel Vogelbach staying with the Mets. That's a huge one.
Danny Burgess.
The Phillies declined their option on Gene Segura. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Was that like a $20 million option or something stupid? It was really it was an expensive option.
It makes sense if it was that
much.
Dan
Vogelbach being a Met for another season just so I can get more Danny Burgers jokes on TikTok is like Danny worth Burgers. It in itself to me.
Yeah. The most obvious one I think was the Jonathan Scope exercising the player option that he had with the Tigers. It's just like, yeah, you were the worst hitter in baseball. I really hope you would exercise that.
Someone probably would have taken him.
Yeah, I definitely, but like not for as much as whatever his player option was. Let's see.
The Phillies actually
$7.5 million.
The Phillies actually declined their option and bought out Gene Segura.
Yeah, so he's going to be a free agent.
Right. And then Paxton, I think Paxton got his option declined.
Why would you pay a guy to go through Tommy John recovery and then be like, we don't want to see what you look like on the other side?
Very interesting.
It's a mutual option though, so Paxton could still choose to. Oh, wait. I think it's one of those where it's like if they decline the club option, then he gets a player option.
Oh, and I think the other really big ones that we can just touch on really quick are Zach Eflin declined his part of the mutual option, which is a $15 million option, which is kind of wild. That he would
probably wants a multi-year or something.
And the Twins declined options on Dylan Bundy, Chris Archer, and Miguel Sano. So all of them are going to be free agents.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see the full list of free agents. We'll probably do that next week. I mean, I'm sure if you guys are going to be signed, we've already seen one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then there's a bunch of other players that have obviously declined options, but if we haven't mentioned them, they're probably not worth mentioning. Onto the typo. The Colorado Rockies, according to Jake Crumpler, have traded Sam Hilliard to the Braves. Is this like really a move that like matters?
No, I don't know. I just it was like it's the first trade of the offseason. It's the first trade of the offseason. I don't know. Sam Hilliard is sort of like people know who he is if they like are baseball nerds. But yeah, I don't know. It's not anything big. He played most of his 2022 at AAA for the Rockies. He batted .308 with 13 homers and a 157 WRC plus at AAA, and then for some reason cannot hit even when playing in Coors. He had a 44 WRC plus in the majors, but he's like a big guy. He's like 6'5", 236, and he's pretty fast. He's got power. He can play center field, but he's like 28 now. I don't know. I just feel like the Braves get guys like these and guys like this, and then just I don't know, make them solid. We'll see. It will probably not end up being anything, but I just thought we might as well note the first trade of the offseason before we get into the first signing.
Right. And they traded him for effectively nothing.
Yes, exactly.
They traded him for Dylan Spain. Dylan Spain. But yeah, I mean, he's a 24-year-old minor league pitcher that hasn't really done anything in the minors in his career. So like, he's still in high A. He's 24, and he had like a 5 ERA with like only 60 strikeouts and 56 innings. He's just not in like a mid ones with like not really interested there. Sam Hilliard, if he ends up being a fourth outfielder, you call that a win for the Braves every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like it's trade though, and we love trades. Love off-season moves, and this is probably easily the biggest off-season move.
Should I play the trumpet song?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have it. I wish I had it.
We'll get it. We'll get the rights. We won't get copyright claimed or anything.
But because we're making so much money from this, they're definitely gonna have to copyright us. Yeah.
Don't listen to Jake. We're getting the big bucks. Edwin Díaz signed a record contract to return to the New York Mets, his beloved New York Mets. I think he probably likes it there. He likes it there now because they gave him 5 years and $102 million. So that includes a $12 million signing bonus, a full, complete no trade clause, and a club option for a 6th year that will actually make the deal $122 million. He has an opt-out that he can exercise after the 3rd year in his contract in $26.5 million. So his contract is deferred. Edwin Díaz, very comfortably the best closer in baseball last year, and this now breaks Aroldis Chapman's total value record for a reliever. His previous contract was 5 years, $86 million, and it also breaks Liam Hendriks' annual value record of $18 million. Evan in like the big chat or whatever was like, it's a ton of money, but like it is, but also he's very clearly shown to be worth it. I mean, he's still not 30 yet. He was very comfortably the best closer in baseball last year. And even the years where he's been like bad, he really hasn't been. He's had like actually one bad year in his entire career. And
that one was so weird.
And it's like his first year as a Met, and that just hasn't happened again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this is a really smart move by a team that's obviously got a lot of money. They have the richest owner in baseball, flashing the cash to try to keep his team good. I think everyone should be in favor of this unless you're a fan of a rival NL East team. But, yeah, Edwin Díaz going to stay in Queens.
Yeah, I think it's completely worth it for the Mets. He deserves. He's well deserving of this money. He's had 3 sub-2 ERA seasons across the last 5 years. The 2 that were outside of it, one was a 3.45 last year, which I don't know, not terrible, but all his estimators are well below that. And then the 5.59 ERA he had in 2019, his first year with the Mets, is just super weird. He had a 377 BABIP, and his home run to fly ball rate was like double his career rate. So just anything that was going in the air was flying. That was like juiced ball. Like that was the height of the juiced ball era. So like it makes sense. He was just getting screwed because he's more of a fly ball pitcher, but he is like the premier strikeout pitcher in baseball. Do you know what his strikeout rate was this year?
his strikeout rate.
Yeah,
this year.
percentage.
I have to think it's probably in the high 40s.
50.2%.
I was close. I was going to guess like maybe 49%.
I'm like 99% sure that's like the second or third highest of all time because I had been tracking it all year as a bullpen writer for Pitcher List. He was like so close to breaking Aroldis Chapman's record. But yeah, he's top 3 all time in strikeout percentage in a single season. He's just like the best strikeout pitcher in baseball. He throws super hard fastball, really great slider. He's just, it's really hard to be better than he has been, especially this past season. This might have been his best year. A lot of people will talk about his 57 save season in 2018 that really put him on the map and got him traded to the Mets in the first place. And I mean, that's like the 4th most saves of all time in a single season or something like that. I don't know. Just something crazy like that. But he also, he was just so good this year. 1.31 ERA. I just made you guess his strikeout rate. Do you want to guess his FIP?
His FIP.
His ERA was 1.31.
Oh, so it's got to be sub 1 because he struck so many people out. 0.92.
0.90, bro.
Wow.
Unstoppable.
Wow.
Just such a good season. Yeah. So yeah, and it seems like he's only getting better. Like I don't remember him throwing 100 miles per hour when he was younger. Maybe he did and I just don't remember. But yeah, like you said, he's going into his age 29 season. He's going to be there 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 through his age 33 season with the possible age 34 season. And I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be completely deserved. That'd be crazy if he opted out after the 3rd year. He would have to have a crazy run to do something like that. Maybe lock him into like 5 more years, but we'll see. The Mets clearly, I think he's the best closer in baseball. Like it was Liam Hendricks, it was Josh Hader, and Liam Hendricks sort of fell off a little bit. He's still really good. I wouldn't consider him the best, but Josh Hader fell off big time. It's hard to consider him the best closer in baseball. And I think Edwin Díaz really swooped in and took that just by being consistent throughout the entire year.
The only other one that I think you can really make an argument for, and this is mainly a value-based argument, is probably Clase, and that's just because they're relatively close, and Clase's contract for the next 5 years is what Edwin Díaz will make this year, which is really dumb. So, but I keep like looking up, like trying to look up cool like stats and factoids on Twitter about like Edwin Díaz for this, and all I keep saying is people like complaining that the Mets spent all this money on a reliever. Steve Cohen is a billionaire. Steve Cohen is a billionaire.
Bro, he's more than a billionaire. And like the rest of the owners are billionaires, and he's like way richer than they are.
He's a capital B billionaire. He has so much money. He's a Mets fan. He wants the team to win. His net worth has just increased exponentially now that he owns the Mets. Why are you mad that the Mets are actively trying to compete? It's his money. Let him spend it so he can actually try to win. Like,
there's no cap in baseball. I feel like that's what. Yeah, there's no cap. It's just more tax. It's just more for him to pay. Who cares if he has to pay more?
If you want to,
if it stops you from signing other guys.
If Steve Cohen the thing is it won't, because Steve Cohen will spend whatever it takes to win because he wants to win. That's what everybody should want their owner to do. If you have to pay the literal like 9 tiers into the luxury tax, like I know it's not really even a thing. If you have to pay 9 tiers into the luxury tax, do it. If you want your team to win, do it. And Steve Cohen's proving that he wants to. And a lot of them are like, oh, it'll keep him from signing somebody else. No, it won't. Shut up. Like, it absolutely won't. They have a good farm they could trade from if they really, really wanted to. Like, their team is set up to win. Like, I think their biggest thing now is, like, making sure they get DeGrom and probably a bat. Like, that's all they really need to do. Because their team was good. They just kind of got washed in the playoffs. They need to rebuild the rest of their bullpen because their bullpen is not very good outside of Edwin Díaz. But, you know, like saying this is a bad move for the Mets is very obtuse. You don't know ball. So let's go on to BBWAA awards finalists for some people that do know ball, and they're going to vote on some of them do. Well, some of them do. Yeah, some of them do. Let's just run down the. So you want to run down the finalists for all of these, and then you want to pick who you think will actually end up winning it?
Yeah, let's go section by section.
Okay. Well, I'll
Or
let you-
do we do who do we think is going to win or who do we think should win?
we can do both. I mean, we still got time.
Sure. All right.
All right, I'll let you start off with the first one. 'Cause
Sure.
I already hit. I
Yeah.
have
So
to
we're
think
going to
a little
start
bit.
off. Yeah. All right. We're going to start off with the most boring one. Manager of the year. We're going from most
talking about?
boring to most exciting. So we're going to start with manager of the year and finish with the big one, MVP. And we're going to start with the AL. As always, we'll go back and forth. So yeah, in the AL, the manager of the year awards finalists are Terry Francona of the Cleveland Guardians, Brandon Hyde of the Baltimore Orioles. Nice. Orioles.
Nice. I like that
And
name.
Scott, oh, so hungry. Scott Service of the Seattle Mariners. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you more time to think. I think
I got it.
I think it's hard to choose Brandon Hyde given that the Orioles didn't make the playoffs, like
Yeah.
I think he is like very deserving. I think he did a really good job with the team that he was given, but they didn't make the World Series, obviously not. They didn't make the playoffs at all. And like, I love Terry Francona, but I think he had, I don't know. I love Terry Francona. I think he should win often, but yeah, my choice is Scott Service. I think he is probably going to win, and I think he should win just because he led the Mariners to the postseason for the first time since 2001. Like, I don't know. That's all there is to say about that.
I think Scott Service should win, and I think Terry Francona will win.
The BBWAA guys, they love them some Terry Francona.
Yeah, they love Terry Francona. Scott Service broke the Mariners playoff drought, but also the Mariners were expected to be a pretty good young team. The Guardians were expected to be dog shit pretty much. So like, I don't know. I think it's not going to be Hyde. I think it's going to be one of Scott Service and Terry Francona. You could flip-flop either one of them. Terry Francona, you could make a case he deserves to win, but I mean, Scott Service also broke. Like, he literally took a team that was awful forever, can't make the playoffs, finally does it. I think you kind of have to just give it to him on principle. But yeah, my vote would be for Scott Service.
Good call. Well, in the National League, we've got Dave Roberts. His team sucks of the Los Angeles Dodgers. We got Buck Showalter of the aforementioned New York Mets, and we got Brian Snitker. There's another typo. I wrote Brain Snitker. That's great. More like brain sniffer. Brian Snitker of the Atlanta Braves. This one's a little tougher for me. Obviously, Dave Roberts, awful. His team sucks. Buck Showalter, though, I don't know. He had such a freaking stacked team. But they also dealt with a lot of adversity with all the injuries they faced. I think Buck Showalter is going to win, but I think Brian Snitker should win because, I don't know why. I don't have any reason why. Actually, I switched. I think Buck Showalter should win because he had to deal with the injuries to Scherzer, and DeGrom was out for the majority of the season. I think that was a lot to deal with to have the Mets be as good as they were. It's just going to be weird since the Braves won more games than the Mets to vote for the second place team in the division.
Yeah, I think Dave Roberts will literally never win Manager of the Year.
Let's hope not.
Even if his team sucks. So I think Buck is going to win, but I think Brian Snitker should win. And my reasoning with Brian Snitker is that the Braves started so slow, and they ended up being kind of like stuck in the mire, and then just hit this insane hot streak. And we're just the best, like very clearly the best team in the National League for the entire second half of the season, really. Just kind of paced everybody. But I think Buck will win just because of the story. I mean, he dealt with a lot of adversity. The Mets are also kind of a cursed franchise. Finally make the postseason again. Came out of retirement. I think the story is there, and it's obviously voted on by baseball writers. So I think it's probably going to be Buck, but I think you could definitely make the case. And if it were up to me, I think it'd be Brian Snitker.
Fair point. Yeah. Well, as much as of a crapshoot as Manager of the Year is, it really, I don't think anybody cares about that award.
I care about that award.
We'll move on to one that's going to be pretty hotly debated, I think, in both leagues. That's Rookie of the Year. In the American League, we've got Steven Kwan, Julio Rodriguez, and Adley Rutschman. Kwan is from the Guardians, Rodriguez is from the Mariners, and Rutschman is from the Orioles. This one's very interesting, not only because these teams were all represented in the Manager of the Year award, but also because I think this one is super tight amongst all three, to be honest, because I think Julio's gonna win. I think the voters are just they love Julio. He's got the star power. I think all three of these guys are deserving. Also, I think Adley would have won, and I think he should have won if he played the whole season. They called him up too late for that, though. Like, he really showed how good he was. I think he might have even led American League rookies in WAR, but honestly, I think Steven Kwan should win.
I agree.
Like, if you look at his numbers in the WAR and just the defense, like, he won a Gold Glove, just the whole package of Kwan. He played from start of the season to the end. Honestly, he was the one before Jeremy Pena who lit the freaking world on fire. And I just remember the Kwan mania was crazy to start the season, and he turned it on again in September, and he was just super solid throughout the year. He batted nearly 300. He didn't hit a lot of home runs. He stole some bases, but he had a really good glove. I think Kwan should win, but I think Julio's going to win, and I think Rutschman would have won if he had played more.
I almost completely agree with exactly what you said, and I do think Julio Rodriguez is going to win it just because he's got the star power, and he's on the Mariners, who are like desperately crying out for that. And this is going to be another instance where Cleveland are going to be screwed by the fact that they are Cleveland. And the fact that, they're a super small market team that do not have a lot of eyes on them, no matter how good they are. Adley Rutschman is the 5th rookie outfielder ever to win a Gold Glove.
Steven Kwan. You just said Adley Rutschman.
Oh, sorry, Steven Kwan. I think if it were up to me, obviously not voting, Steven Kwan would win it. Adley Rutschman, though, like, if he played even more close to a full season, I think he just wins it. He was so good and so game-changing for the Orioles. Like, he was the catalyst of them being, like, as good as they were. And it kind of sucks that he won't – I don't think he'll have rookie eligibility next year to try to win it.
No.
He will not. But, yeah, I think Steven Kwan should win it. He's the 4th – he is the 5th, rookie outfielder ever to win a Gold Glove. And that's got some pretty good names on there. Luis Robert a couple of years ago, and probably my favorite baseball player of all time, Ichiro Suzuki, the only other one of recent times. I think the last one before that was in like the 80s. But Steven Kwan, he just does everything you could really want to.
Yeah,
he's obviously not the star that Julio Rodriguez is, but I mean the glove is there. He hit for contact. Didn't he go like what was the number of at bats he went that before he swung and missed at a pitch that was in the zone?
No way, I remember that.
It's crazy.
I have to Google that. Kwan record. Kwan had the lowest percentage of hard. No.
He also walked more than he struck out, which would automatically
reached base 15 times in his first 4 games, and then 26 swings without a miss.
Yep.
I think he went further than that with the swings, but yeah, crazy. That was such a sick way to start the season.
He doesn't swing and miss.
He doesn't miss, bro.
He doesn't. He almost had 20 steals. He had 19 steals. Like,
yeah,
Kwan is not going to get the recognition that he deserves, and he should be the goal. Like, he should be.
He's going to finish third.
He's going to finish third. He's going to finish third, and he should win.
What was this for?
It was like his F4 was like 4.4, 4.5.
4.4. Damn.
Like,
that's pretty dang good.
Like, I don't know. I think Kwan should get it, but he's not going to.
Yeah, and just for reference, Julio was at 5.3 WAR. Wow, F4. And Adley was at 5.3. Holy moly, he did 5.3 WAR in 113 games. Dang, Adley is going to be a beast. I'm excited for next year for that. But yeah. The point stands. Kwan is well deserving of the award from many different standpoints, but there's no way he wins. So
Yeah.
let's move on to the National League. I'm gonna actually have you choose first here. The choices, the finalists are Brendan Donovan of the St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah, good luck. Michael Harris, the second of the Atlanta Braves, and Spencer Strider of the Atlanta Braves as well. Hard not to choose Brendan Donovan, but it's also actually really easy because there's no chance he wins. But yeah, who do you got here?
Yeah, throw Brendan Donovan out of the equation. Just not even really close. Here, I'm gonna send you the meme really quick. You can look at that and laugh while you're making your choice.
Right.
But yeah, I want it to be Spencer Strider, but it's not going to be. It's just gonna be Michael Harris. Yeah, it's gonna be Michael Harris for me. I think Spencer Strider.
Yeah, that's who you think's gonna win, also.
Yeah. I would vote for Michael Harris, and that's who I think is gonna win.
Yeah,
he had almost 5. He had almost 5 WAR.
Yeah, 4.8. I mean, what was Strider at? I mean, it might be better. Actually, well, Strider struck out so many guys. I think he was like the first. Something about 200 strikeouts in a rookie pitcher. What was that? Yeah, 4.9. Yeah, they were both incredible. I think Strider would have won if he didn't get injured in like the final few weeks and he missed a few starts in the season. I think that would have put him well over the top. I think both of them are completely deserving. I think Michael Harris just was so freaking good. 19 homers, 20 steals in 114 games for 4.8 FWAR with a 297 batting average, 136 WRC plus. Just incredible season from Harris. I can't believe the Braves just keep doing these guys. They extended both of them somehow. I don't know how they keep doing that. So, I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them. It's hard to tell what the voters will do. I feel like they might just be like, oh, Spencer Strider was just so dominant, we have to choose him. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to be Michael Harris. I think it should be Michael Harris, but Spencer Strider it's like a grain of sand. That's like the difference between the two. Like Spencer Strider was so good. He had 202 strikeouts. There's something about Spencer. I'm going to look it up. Spencer Strider strikeout. That's a lot of S's. Record.
Alliteration.
200 strikeouts in exactly 130 innings, quicker than any pitcher in history. He reached 200 strikeouts quicker than Randy Johnson did when he needed 130 and 2/3 innings to notch 200 strikeouts in 2001. Strider did it in exactly 130 innings. So, I mean, that's not even like a rookie record. That's just anybody record. Strider was the fastest to 200 strikeouts. That's insane. Okay, maybe Strider should win. They're both so deserving. I feel like it's a tie for me, to be honest. But you know, these voters are going to have to make a decision. I feel like they're going to choose Harris because he played, I don't know, through the end of the season.
I think it's crazy that Michael Harris didn't even get a Gold Glove nomination too.
That's goofy, yeah. Maybe it's because he didn't play enough, but he is well deserving of that.
Well, he didn't get one, but he also was one home run. Like he was a home run off of being a 2020 guy.
Yeah,
like with virtually Gold Glove caliber defense in center field in his rookie season too. Like, yeah. Fact of the matter is, where do the Braves keep coming up with these guys? But it's gonna be a Brave. It's not gonna be Brendan Donovan. We can already throw that out.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, are you sure about the Cy Young Award? Because in the American League, it's another tough choice. In the American League Cy Young Award finalists, we've got Dylan Cease of the Chicago White Sox, Alek Manoah of the Toronto Blue Jays, and Justin Verlander, who we already talked about, of the Houston Astros. This one is very tough because Dylan Cease had a 2.20 ERA and struck out 227 batters, while Justin Verlander was better in like everything else.
Yeah, it's just gonna be Verlander. Like, you can make an argument for Cease. Manoah gets a nice little consolation prize, but he's
love Manoah. Alek Manoah is like one of my favorite baseball players.
Yeah, Justin Verlander is one of my favorite baseball players too. Which
Alek Manoah would win in a fight.
Well, yeah, because Justin Verlander's an old man, an old tired man, and Alek Manoah's a big dude. So like, of course he'd win in a fist fight. But Cy Young, give me Justin Verlander.
Yeah, it can be argued that this was Verlander's best season of his career. The craziest part is that he was coming off of Tommy John surgery. Right now, I think the only knock against him is his lack of innings. He threw 175 innings, which was how many less than Cease? Like 9 less than Cease. But we've seen with Corbin Burns winning last year that it really doesn't matter really how many innings you throw as long as you like qualify for the ERA title. But he had a 1.75 ERA. That's the lowest of his career by like a very large margin. And then he paired that with a whip of 0.83, which is obviously not going to be better than, you know, what he did in 2019 when he had a 0.80, but just an incredible season from the old man. And he had 185 strikeouts as well. So that's the only spot where Cease best sim is innings pitched and strikeouts. I think he had a better strikeout rate. So it's not just like a volume thing, but yeah, I think Verlander's going to win. I think he should win. It's just an incredible way to continue a Hall of Fame career.
Oh yeah.
And now the easiest choice, bro, the easiest choice of all, NL Cy Young.
NL Cy Young. You got your choices. You got Julio Urias. You got Max Fried, and you got Sandy Alcantara. We can just skip this one. We already know what the answer is.
No, let me talk about my boy Sandy, bro. Who predicted it prior to the season starting? I did. I said Sandy Alcantara, NL Cy Young Award. You can go check it out on theathleteshub.org. I picked Sandy, and he is going to win the Cy Young. He led the majors in innings pitched with 228 2/3 innings pitched at a 2.28 ERA, struck out 207 batters, 0.98 WHIP. The man did exactly what I said he was going to do, and yeah, I'm just a genius. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know, man.
Who did you predict?
Who did I? I'm literally looking it up. I'm looking it up right now.
I would like to hear.
Oh man.
It was it posted under your
yes
author tag? Oh, good luck finding that.
My NL Cy Young pick was DeGrom.
Okay, yeah, that was a terrible pick.
Shut up, man. It's not my fault. It's not my fault he got hurt again.
Yeah, it is. If you hadn't picked him, he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Probably not. He literally would have been in the conversation if he hadn't, though.
But you know what? I also tweeted on opening day when Max Fried was throwing like 98 miles per hour. I tweeted Max Fried is going to win the NL Cy Young Award, and he's probably going to finish second. So
probably
I was hitting on all cylinders earlier in the season, before the season. Yeah, Max Fried, 2.48 ERA, 185 innings pitched. He struck out 170 batters. Julio Urias followed up a 20-win season with another great season, but he's on the Dodgers, so I hope he does not win. He won't.
I went with like a really weird dark horse pick for AL Cy Young, and it was like the most wrong it could possibly.
Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi. I remember that one still.
Look, you and Isaiah. You and Isaiah chose the cool pick, so I was like, yeah, I'll be different.
Yeah, it was a bad pick.
You chose Garrett Cole. He stinks.
Yeah, he does stink.
So like, I don't want to hear it.
Sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Garrett Cole, the Aldi, Nathan Eovaldi. He's terrible.
Yeah. All right. Well, now the main event of the evening.
Yeah. It's Sandy, by the way. I choose Sandy.
Yeah. Yeah. He is gonna win. Yeah, my boy. I love Sandy. Sandy and Alec Manoah, my two favorite pitchers for sure.
Let's go to MVP. I think this will be pretty hotly contested.
Oh yeah, especially in the American League.
So your choices for American League MVP, Mr. Baseball Writers of America, are
Mr. and Mrs.
Well, yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Baseball Writers of America. You have Yordan Alvarez of your World Series champion, Houston Astros. You have Aaron Judge of the Toilet Bowl champion, New York, and you have Shohei Ohtani, king of the people.
Yes.
And I think it's easy for me to say what this is going to be. And they're going to crown Aaron Judge MVP. And I personally think that is incorrect because Shohei Ohtani, if voting worked the way that voting should, Shohei Ohtani would win MVP every single year that he has a remotely decent season. Because he just flat out is the most valuable player on a team. Like he's simultaneously your best or second best hitter and your best pitcher. He had 4 WAR just as a hitter. Just as a hitter. If you take away him pitching, he had 4 WAR as a hitter. And then you add in him pitching. Like it's He's so good. Aaron Judge though had a very obviously historic career.
Oh my god, I'm like looking at it again, and it's like holy moly.
11.4 WAR. So like, I think it's not as far off as it should be. Jordan gets a nice little consolation prize here too.
He had a great season.
He had a great season, and he got hurt in the middle too. So like, and came back. But yeah, Aaron Judge is going to win it, and I think he's going to win it running away. Actually, 207 WRC plus, basically the best single season since like Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
But so it's hard to be like, oh, Aaron Judge doesn't deserve it. It's just Shohei Ohtani's an alien, so it's hard to say like, oh, Shohei shouldn't win it. He was the best pitcher for the Angels, and he would have been the best starter for most teams in baseball. And then he would probably be either the best hitter or the second best hitter on almost every single lineup in baseball.
This has got to be like the toughest MVP debate maybe of all time, to be honest, because Judge just had one of the best offensive seasons of all time, and Shohei Ohtani is doing something that's never been done before. And he actually, if you look at the stats, he actually topped what he did last year. He had a higher WAR than he had last year, which was like a unanimous MVP season. And now he did better than that. And now it's like, oh, but this other guy actually hit 60 home runs. It's like impossible to choose. I agree with you. I think Judge will win. I think Ohtani should win. But like it's so close. I think it's like as close as the Harris and Spencer Strider debate is. I think it's that close with Ohtani and Judge, maybe even closer. And it's just so hard to pick because they've both been so good. Like this is the one time I would be okay with co-MVPs, to be honest.
I think I would be too.
Get rid of the NL MVP award and just make 2 AL MVP awards. But yeah, I mean, the thing about Shohei's WAR, like he's at 9.4 WAR this year and Judge was at 11.4. So that seems like a big disparity. The thing about Ohtani's WAR is that offensively they ding him for being a DH, for not providing defensive value, but you can argue that he provides more defensive value than regular defenders because he's on the mound and he doesn't get a boost for having that defensive level on the mound. So like he does have that WAR on the pitching side, but it takes away from his WAR on the offensive side. So I think they're like neck and neck in that WAR department if they really were able to actually accurately calculate how incredible Ohtani is. But I mean, yeah, it's like his offensive stats aren't as crazy as they were last year. He had like a 9% decrease in WRC plus, but like still 34 home runs, 11 steals, and a 273 batting average, which was way better than last year. 142 WRC plus is incredible for anyone. And this guy is one of the best pitchers in baseball. 166 innings pitched. He had a 2.33 ERA and 219 strikeouts and a 1.01 whip. It's so stupid that people are like normalizing this, that they're getting used to this kind of stuff. This is like, nobody could have ever dreamed that this could happen. And this guy is doing this multiple years in a row. And of course it's like, he's got to compete with the craziest offensive season I've ever seen in my lifetime. I mean, I was not old enough to properly appreciate Barry Bonds' 73 home runs in 2001, but freaking Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs, stole 16 bases, had more than 130 runs and RBI, and batted .311 with a 207 WRC plus. 207 is just that's insane. An 11.4 WAR is ridiculous, and he was playing center field a lot of the time. The man is like a monster. Playing in Yankee Stadium, like carrying a team the whole way. It's like, oh my God, both of these seasons are just so incredible. And it's like so crazy we got to witness this, because like when we're like 70 years old and our grandkids are like, did you watch Shohei Ohtani play? It's like, yeah, and freaking Aaron Judge. And they had the most incredible seasons I've ever seen in the same year. And it was impossible to appreciate it because we're like too caught up in a debate of who is better. It's like, can we just appreciate both of them? They're both like all-time players. Like at this rate, like just with this one season, Judge is like on pace to be a Hall of Famer, right? I mean, he's got 220 home runs in like a few seasons. Like he's already 30, but I mean, unless his body breaks down, which we've seen it do it before, like he's a Hall of Famer. Ohtani like does this one more season, and I feel like he should be like first ballot. I mean, like it's incredible. We're really watching some of the best players of all time right now. We're super lucky, and like we even got to see Albert Pujols hit his 700th home run. We're so lucky to like be alive during this era of baseball, and I feel like people don't realize it a lot. And I think Shohei Ohtani is the main the main reason, but all these other players are just so great. It was a really crazy season, but yeah, I sort of got off track there, but yeah, it's either way, I don't think I'm going to be that upset, although I like Shohei Ohtani a lot more than I like Aaron Judge, but maybe that changes because he could be coming to the Bay, and then I'll really like Aaron Judge.
Oh, yeah. It's so hard to come up with words for those two guys. These are going to be two really difficult MVP debates. That one's difficult. And then there's literally 3 guys for NL MVP that are like neck and neck and neck. It's like just as hard as it is to choose between Shohei and Aaron Judge. It's really hard to pick from between these 3 guys. And the NL MVP finalists are Nolan Arenado, I'll say his name correct this time. Nolan Arenado of the St. Louis Cardinals, formerly known as Norman Armando. Paul Goldschmidt, his teammate, partner in crime, best friend. They probably hang out. Paul Goldschmidt plays first base for the St. Louis Cardinals, and Manny Machado of the St. Louis Padres.
St. Louis Padres.
Yeah. Same thing. San Diego, St. Louis. They're like the same thing. Midwest, whatever.
I'm about to be in San Diego next weekend.
See if you can hang out with Manny Machado, who will
I don't know.
soon win.
I don't know. It was just election time, so I'm sure Manny's going to be in some sort of state of republicanism that I'm not going to appreciate.
Regardless of his republicanism, Manny Machado should be the one that wins NL MVP. Paul Goldschmidt had a great season. Norman Armando had a good season. Manny Machado very clearly was the most valuable player on his baseball team. He had the best season, which culminated in more WAR than either of them. He had 152 WRC plus. He had 32 dingers. He had 100 RBI, scored over 100 runs. He played Gold Glove defense third. Still, Manny Machado should win MVP. I know Goldschmidt has him beat in hitting stats, just barely, but they're just barely in almost every single category. He's got a couple more home runs, he's got a handful more doubles, and he's got like a couple more runs and like 3 more RBI. Like Manny Machado was the best player on a team that was going through a tumultuous season that had to deal with Fernando Tatis Jr. Hurting himself, being an idiot, and then getting suspended for the full season, held that team together and somehow drove them into the playoffs and was the catalyst for that. He was the glue for their offense. When he got hurt for a spell, they didn't play good. Their offense did not work. It was completely broken. Nolan Arenado wasn't the best player on his own team. So it's hard to really, really count him for me because he wasn't better than Goldie this year. But Manny Machado should be the MVP, at least in my mind. I don't think he will win, but he should win. I think Paul Goldschmidt will win, but Manny Machado, for me, 100% deserves all the plaudits and should be in MVP.
Yeah, that's really fair. I think from a narrative perspective that Machado has the other 2 guys beat, like you said, with Tatis going out, Machado had to be the guy to carry the team. Obviously, he got some help with Soto, who really wasn't too much help in that second half anyway. So yeah, I think narrative-wise, Machado wins. But I mean, I'm a stats guy. I think Goldschmidt should win. He just beats him in basically every single offensive category. 177 WRC plus was the best in the National League. He had an incredible season, and he even slowed down a lot. In September, he finished with 35 home runs, still and batted .317. And Goldschmidt wasn't always on the Cardinals, and I think he was super underrated when he was with the Diamondbacks, that I think he deserved at least 1 MVP during that time. And I don't know. I think it would be cool to see him finally get his due. I think, obviously, like I said, Machado is more than deserving, and especially he's got that narrative aspect. But yeah, I think it's going to be Goldschmidt. I think it should be Goldschmidt. I think Arenado is the odd man out here. But yeah, it's a pretty tight race. I would not say it's as tight as the American League. But yeah, I think both of these guys have a very good case for NL MVP. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. I'm excited to see the voting totals to see exactly how close it is. But, Goldschmidt beat him on the offensive side. He plays a less demanding defensive position, but he was just that much better on the offensive side. I mean, it's an incredible season for Machado, 32 home runs, batted 298, 152 WRC plus. So it'll be really interesting. I think I'm not going to be mad either way. Machado's going to win an MVP at some point in his career. It's cool because he's got the big contract and stuff. So I don't know. I think either way, I'm not going to be upset, but it does make sense. Like you said, you explained the whole narrative with Machado that he was just the best player on his team by far, and he was carrying the whole team basically. So he's got that backing him up, for making up for whatever he lacks on offensive prowess.
I think if Manny Machado played in an environment that was more conducive to hitting, he'd win it running away.
But that's where the WRC plus accounts for that.
Right. It does. But also, like, Goldie, for me, like, he beat him on the offensive categories, but it's like, apart from WRC plus, it's all really close. Like, it's all really, really close.
The Cardinals Stadium is horrible for hitting.
The Cardinals Stadium is horrible for everything because it's in St. Louis. They're the worst franchise in baseball. I hate them. So I'm not. I think it will be Goldie. I really do, because he had an unbelievable season. I just think Manny Machado deserves more of a shout than he's going to end up getting. I really do think that it's genuinely just going to be Goldschmidt, and it's going to be like it's running away, even though I don't think he was very, very clearly the best player in the National League this year. But I think it's going to be like, I think the votes are going to be very, very slanted towards Goldschmidt, even though I think it should be Machado. Machado just offers more. I mean, he arguably should have won a Gold Glove. I'm not happy about it, but it's probably going to end up being Goldschmidt.
Yeah. Well, those were some fair points. I'm excited to see what happens with these. I forget how long from now it's going to be until they are announced, but it'll be a fun time to figure out who the major award winners are. We'll also get Silver Sluggers. So next time we'll be able to cover the upcoming free agent class, as well as Silver Sluggers and maybe BBWAA awards finalists. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of news coming out.
Okay, so the awards are going to be announced the 14th through the 17th. So in probably our next show.
Yeah, that's Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday next week.
Yeah, Monday through Thursday. So we could do next weekend. We'll talk about it.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'm pumped for that. Excited for the offseason. It's going to be super lit. There's a lot of big guys out there. The biggest name, Aaron Judge, obviously, but we'll get more into that.
Cub, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do a free agent predictions piece or something. I need to get you and probably Isaiah in on that. But yeah, it's gonna take some work to get you to freaking write something. No, I'm joking.
For real, god dang. The draft last year was cool, like where we did the predictions, and then we ended up doing the draft for the teams to see how things shaped up.
Yeah,
we need to revisit that also.
Yeah, so I'll go look back at the content we made last year, because I think we were really coming up with some good ideas, and it'd be fun to keep it going.
Absolutely. On that note of talking about in the future, let's talk about the now, and let's talk about bringing in the closer to this excellent podcast.
Yes, I actually took the time to make one today. This guy had a very short career, but he's actually should be more well-known than he is. I actually had no idea who he was. I just clicked on his name, and here we go. We're going to uncover the career of Tim Burke. He had an 8-year career from 1985 to 1992 with the Montreal Expos, the New York Mets, and the New York Yankees. He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates in the second round of the 1980 MLB draft. He debuted 5 years later in 1985 at the age of 26 against the Cincinnati Reds. He pitched 2 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, an earned run, walked 3, and struck out 1. And he just immediately took over in the bullpen, even though he was a starter in the minor leagues. His first season in the majors, he was a workhorse reliever. He led the National League in games appeared in. He had 78 games that he pitched in, and he pitched to a 2.39 ERA with 8 saves. That's a pretty solid debut, and he sort of kept it going and was sort of underrated and doing the same thing again in 1986. He tossed 101 in the third innings pitch with a 2.93 ERA and 4 more saves. And then his third season in the majors, 1987, it was his career best year. This man went 91 innings pitched. He had a 1.19 ERA, a 0.89 whip, and he saved 18 ball games. Just a really incredible way to start his career. Just 3 straight sub-3 ERA seasons culminating in that 1.19 ERA season. Just really good. And then he kept it going. In 1988, he had 82 innings pitched, a 3.40 ERA, the worst of his career so far, but he had a career high, tied his career high with 18 saves at that point. And there was a point in between 1987 and 1988 where he held the lowest career ERA ever by a relief pitcher. So that's a pretty cool claim to fame. And then he was finally recognized for how good he was. In 1989, he made his first All-Star team. He pitched to a 2.55 ERA that year across 84 and 2/3 innings pitched, and saved what would be a career high 28 saves that season for the Montreal Expos. His final full season in Montreal was also a success as he tossed 75 innings pitched with a 2.52 ERA and 20 more saves. So he just killed it across like 6 seasons in Montreal. And then the following year, he was traded to the Mets midway through the 1991 season. He saved only 1 more game for the rest of his career. That was in that second half of the 1991 season. I think he played 1 more full season with the Mets before a half season with the Mets in like 1993. Is that what it was? No. He played no more full seasons with the Mets. It was just another half season with the Mets in 92. And then he traded to the Yankees. So he finished out his career as a Yankee. And then he retired with the 3rd lowest ERA of all time by a reliever, which is pretty crazy. That doesn't seem true because it's not that crazy. His career ERA was 2.72 ERA, and I didn't take the time to double check that, but that's what his Wikipedia said. So if Wikipedia isn't telling the truth, then I don't know where you're supposed to find information if you can't trust Wikipedia anymore. What, you want me to go to like a Fangraphs or something? Like
read an almanac.
Yeah, what, you want me to go to the library? Like, I don't think so. I trust Wikipedia. So people better not be like going ahead and just like changing all the reliever stats so that I get screwed up on these things. But yeah, super sick career for the man, Tim Burke. He retired with 12.1 career BWAR, Baseball Reference WAR, 699 and a third innings pitched with 444 strikeouts, a 2.72 ERA, a 1.21 whip, and 102 saves, which ties him for 156th all-time in career saves. And that is it. Tim Burke is here to shut down this 35th episode of Free Baseball.
He couldn't just get 2 more batters retired so he could get to clean 700 innings.
No.
That sucks, man. And then 2.72 ERA is the 3rd lowest, or was the 3rd lowest. Like, was
it when he retired? No, because he retired because it said behind Mariano Rivera and like Hoyt Wilhelm or whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the time to double check it, but that sounds right.
That's what Baseball Reference says.
Crazy. I never even heard of him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tim Burke, the GOAT. GOAT with the 2.7. Sorry, the third GOAT ERA. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got for today, I think.
Yes, sir. Pretty solid episode.
Yeah, pretty solid episode. Talked about the World Series, which sucked because Phillies lost. But it's okay because now we get to talk about the offseason and speculate about baseball for the next several months.
Shall be fun.
Make sure you join back with me and Jake. Not at Mondays at 4 p.m. because that's not what today is. We'll eventually change our weird graphics. But you can check out Jake Crumpler. Where?
At Jake Crumpler on Twitter. And that's about it. That's the only place you want to follow me on. Also, I write for Pitcher List and The Athletes Hub. Pitcherlist.com, theathleteshub.org, and I write for baseballhq.com. And you can find all my work at crumplerbaseball.com. It still needs to be updated. It's been like 3 or 4 months now that I haven't updated it, but you can rest assured that I'll be putting out a lot of content this off season. So if you're looking for baseball content, stay tuned to my Twitter because I will be tweeting out all my articles and podcasts for sure.
Absolutely. And you can check out me. I'm Davis Bird. You can check me out at dvsbird on twitter.com. I also write for the Athletes Hub very sporadically. I mainly just host this now. Me and Jake will eventually put out some more stuff, doing predictions for the offseason and talking about a few more things. We'll probably do another way too early predictions as well, because we talked about it a little bit today. So if you want to check that out and see how wrong we were, you can go over to the athleteshub.org and read all of my old stuff, new stuff to come, and all of Jake's stuff. Check back with us sporadically, and make sure you follow the Athletes Hub on Twitter at Athletes Hub.
You screwed it up.
I run the Twitter. I'm literally going to change the name of the Twitter just so I won't be wrong anymore. But make sure you follow the Athletes Hub at Athletes Hub on Twitter. There's all sorts of cool sports content, not just baseball, not just me and Jake. Deep Takes from 3 is there too. If you want a podcast about basketball, all things regarding the sport, it's a really cool watch. Really cool to listen to if you're just kind of hanging out. If you want to read about all sorts of sport, we got football, we got basketball, we got baseball. There's professional wrestling stuff on there. There's soccer content from Jonathan Fearby. There's all sorts of stuff. So make sure you go over and check out the site and get all your sports needs from some guys that aren't part of the big major outlets and sports fans just like you. So that's all we really have for this week. And make sure you check back with that Twitter so you can see when our next show is going to be on. We'll eventually kind of settle into like a real schedule where we're doing stuff like on a normal time frame, but that's just been like way too much. We'll get it right eventually. That's all we got for this week.